and welcome to Saudi Arabia for an evening unlike anything you will have ever experienced before. This is the Kingdom Arena. This is where they're going to be staging the opening ceremony before two worlds collide as boxing meets MMA. It's Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou in the battle of the baddest. Tyson Fury's meeting with Francis Ngannou launches Riyadh season here in the capital city of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where it will be hosting a series of sporting and entertainment events over the next few months. Well, it is an all-heavyweight fight card for you tonight. In fact, it's so big, it's spread across two arenas. Now, the Undercard is going to be staged in the outdoor arena there, we can see, with all those amazing lights. And that includes Fabio Wardley's British title defence against David Adeleye. And then just to the left, that big arena there, that is the Kingdom Arena. We're going to bring you inside for the opening ceremony. You're not going to want to miss that. Plus, there's a few surprises along the way as well as we build up to the main event, Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, with a special WBC belt awarded to the winner, the baddest man on the planet. And joining me here tonight, we have Carl Frampton, a former two-weight world champion boxer, and we also have the voice of MMA. Lovely for you to join us, Dan Hardy. Great to see you both. Here it is. We've been talking about it for ages. The build-up's been massive, and now it's here. How excited are you?
I'm buzzing. I feel like almost as if I'm going to fight myself. I don't think I've been this nervous.
Yeah.
Doing a punditry gig in my life, so I'm absolutely buzzing about this one.
Yeah, same. I don't really know what to expect. I'm just kind of anxiously awaiting to see what the night brings for us.
Well, let's show you what we learned yesterday. So we were all at the weigh-in together, and we saw Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou go head-to-head and face-to-face for the last time before they're actually going to go and meet in the ring. They both look great, but the noticeable difference, I suppose, with these two men yesterday was they'd snapped into business mode. It wasn't fun and games anymore. Yeah,
it's clear there's a respect there between both guys, but certainly from Tyson anyway. I think Francis has been very relaxed the whole way through. But Tyson, there was just a moment where he flipped, where he was very boisterous and noisy, and then after he came off the scales, he kind of calmed down. It looked like he was in serious mode.
Yeah, absolutely. He just put his game face on, but Ngannou's kept this tone all the way through. I mean, he's not rising to the bait. He's kind of just playing the game a little bit, but not really falling into the traps that Tyson Fury can pull you in, the psychological ones.
You can tell he wasn't enjoying that very much because they have been quite funny with each other at times. I want to ask you about how heavy they both are. They're actually both at their career heavier, so we'll start with Tyson Fury. Why do you think he's opted for that in this?
I think he probably guessed that Francis was going to come in heavy, so I think that's probably the reason why he's come in so heavy. Normally fighting other opponents, depending on who the opponent is, he likes to get up on his toes at times and move around. It probably indicates that he's going to do what he says he's going to do, and he's going to go forward and be aggressive and get on the front foot.
Francis Ngannou actually was described by Tyson Fury as a fat sausage. I mean, listen, I think he looks amazing. If I was in shape like that, I wouldn't feel like a fat sausage. Will that work against him, though, being that heavy at some point, if it goes a distance?
It is interesting that he's coming in very heavy. I mean, throughout his MMA career, he has gradually gained weight, but he's always under the 265 limit of the heavyweight division. What these extra few pounds will do to him, I don't know, but to me it looks like quality weight, which means it's going to cost him over the distance.
We're going to find out very shortly what that means, but in the meantime, I'll introduce you to our team on the ground. We have all bases covered tonight because it's such a vast event. Let's go see where Josh is.
And I'll be here roaming around backstage, just a stone's throw away from the Undercard fighters' dressing rooms, whom we'll be speaking to throughout the night to find out the latest goings-on right here backstage. And just after that, we'll head over to the main arena to speak to the two baddest men on the planet, Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. This is going to be a heavyweight clash for the ages.
I'm backstage in the very exclusive VIP area where we're expecting stars from the world of football, boxing and even music. Look out for the names of Cristiano Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, boxing legends Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Manny Pacquiao, UFC superstar Conor McGregor and even Eminem. And of course, I'll be getting a word with them to see what they think of the big showdown tonight.
And I'm outdoors, in the dark, underneath just a little bit of moonlight, where in that ring, there will be 5 heavyweight undercard fights before we go into the big arena for the battle of the baddest. Carlos Takam, the veteran world title challenger, will fight Martin Bakole, possibly the most avoided heavyweight out there. And the teenage sensation, Moses Itama, will have his toughest test yet against Istvan Bernaf. And perhaps heavyweight boxing's biggest secret, and I mean biggest in every way, Arslanbek Makhmudov will fight junior Anthony Wright. And then former world heavyweight champion Joseph Parker fights one of the hardest punchers in the heavyweight division, Simon Keane. And then the big one, the British heavyweight title between the KO Kings, Fabio Wardley and David Adeleye. That's what's going to be outside. Inside, it's the battle of the baddest. Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou and moonlight. What more do you want from a night?
Bunsey, I couldn't have put it better myself. There you go, where all those amazing lights are. That's where Bunsey is in the Undercard Arena, and we're here in the Kingdom Stadium, which is basically where it's going to be massive later on for this opening ceremony build-up. And then, of course, the main event between our two heavyweights, the UFC world and the world of boxing as well. But there is a chief support fight that has got a lot of boxing fans, real purists, very excited. Fabio Wardley against David Adeleye, 12 rounds for a British heavyweight title. There's 3 other belts on the line for this. Something quite interesting has happened between these two in the past as we built up to this fight. So the media day, which was about 7 weeks ago, they came to blows. It was Fabio and it was David and some of his friends during interviews on the red carpet. Now, Fabio actually saw a cut to his temple, which we knew at the time. But if you have a look at these weigh-in shots, just on his chin there, that's a fresh cut. And what we've learned since, and rumours that have been circulating around the boxing world, is it was a deep cut to his chin, so deep it actually hit the bone. He had to have 9 stitches. Some of those were internal. He's also not been able to spar properly. He's not had the proper camp that he needs. Again, all rumours. Can't 100% say that they are certain, but this is what we hear, and sometimes, most of the time in boxing, if you hear it, it means it's true, Carl. How's that going to affect him tonight?
Yeah, it is certainly going to affect him. I imagine the boys are getting really well paid for coming out here to fight a British title fight in Saudi Arabia. If this fight was happening in the UK and the money was less, it was UK money, this fight would not be happening. So I think that Fabio has probably been put into a position where he feels like he has to fight because the purse is so great.
When you have such a short camp, how does that affect it? What might we see from Fabio tonight?
You know, I mean, it's going to take him a little time to kind of get the distance. One of the reasons for sparring is to get that time in and that distance, that range management. And if you don't have that time in sparring to get that, you have to find it in the first and second round, and that could be difficult against David.
Some things are really unnecessary. We quite like all the fighting talk before events and things like that. This isn't what people want to see, especially not for someone like Fabio. But if you take all that away for a second, if you can, and you just put these two head-to-head, David and Fabio against each other, on a level playing field, how does this fight go?
It's always a very close fight. I think that talking to different people, some people are picking Wardley, some people are picking Adeleye, but no one's saying it with any real sense of confidence. The fact now that we've just found this out, if it's true, then we got to edge towards Adeleye. If Fabio hasn't been sparring, he hasn't been preparing like he would like to have, then you got to edge towards Adeleye in this one. It's unfair, but that's the way it is.
At the weigh-in as well, obviously we were looking at the demeanours between the two, and Fabio looked incredibly relaxed, very calm, and David was doing his normal talk, and he looked like he was actually enjoying trying to get under the skin of Fabio.
I mean, Adelaide's confidence at the press conference was brilliant. For me, that gave him the edge in the first round, just because he seems grounded, he seems confident, And he also seems like he really knows his opponent, like he knows him inside and out. He's been studying him all week. The comment about eating like you've never eaten before, and you know, you can just tell he's been studying him and he's inside of his head. Yeah. And I think that gives him a level of confidence that's going to see him through this fight.
Excellent. Well, that is our penultimate fight tonight before the main event. But listen to this, we have a great undercard, not just that fight, everything else as well. 6 fights in total, 2 arenas, an opening ceremony as well, where only one man's going to be named the baddest on the planet later on. And while all of that work continues around us, we go here, the undercard arena. Martin Bakole against Carlos Takam, who's in great shape. Both of them looking great at the weigh-in yesterday. Your commentary team is coming up in just a second's time. Darren Fletcher is alongside former WBC super middleweight world champion Richie Woodall. But first, let's get to our MC for the night, Thomas Triber.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to a great night of championship boxing live from Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to extend a big thank you to His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Turki Al-Sheikh. It is all being brought to you by Sella, Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, and Gimmick. We get things started with 10 rounds scheduled, and it is an international heavyweight contest. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge Robin Smith, timekeeper John Smith. Our 3 judges assigned, all from England, will be Steve Gray, John Latham, and Bob Williams. Our referee in charge will be Lee Every of England. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing black, gray, and white, and weighed in officially at 299.4 pounds. A native of the Democratic Republic of Congo, he is now fighting out of Airdrie, Scotland, and brings a professional record consisting of 19 wins, just 1 defeat. 14 of his 19 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Martin Bakole. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing white with black and red, and weighed in at 257.1 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, by way of his native country of Cameroon. He has a professional record consisting of 40 wins, 7 defeats, 1 draw, with 28 of his 40 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Carlos Takam.
Okay, lads, when I say stop, you stop boxing. When I say break, take a step back. Keep your hands up, protect yourself full time. Good luck to you both. Good luck.
So we start tonight with Martin Bakole against Carlos Takam. We start outside for the undercard in this smaller arena. Then we'll move inside. 5 heavyweight fights out here. And then we go inside into the Kingdom Arena for the main event later on. We'll see Eminem perform. We'll see Fury in the ring with Ngannou. But this is Bakole against Takam. And Martin Bakole, Richie, the first thing you noticed about him yesterday is the fact that he weighed in at 299 pounds. He's 42 pounds heavier than the man he's in there with tonight, Carlos Takam.
Yeah, a bit surprising. You know, in his last contest, I think he was around 280 pounds, so he's nearly 20 pounds heavier. than what he was when he fought back in April. He's a big, powerful fella, is Bakole. Very, very confident and ranks highly in the world. WBC is number 9. WBA is at number 2, remember. And with the IBF, he's number 12. So he's a world-class fighter. And, yeah, let's see if he gets the job done tonight, because this could be difficult against Takam.
Takam can be wily, very experienced. He's 42, 40 wins in 48 fights. He's been in with some good men. Both of them have wins on their record over the 2016 Olympic champion Tony Yoka. It's only the 5th time, though, since December 2020 that we've seen Bakole in the ring. Certainly feels, Bakole, that he can mix it with the best in the division, and he has to produce here tonight and start to prove that if he's going to move on. He's originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo and boxes out of Airdrie in Scotland these days, and he's the one, as you'd expect, who's landing the heavier shots in the early stages.
Just feeling out his opponent with that jab, isn't he? I remember watching Bakole spar Anthony Joshua up in Sheffield a couple of times and always give a good account of himself. He's also sparred Dubois, he's also sparred Alexander Usyk, so yeah, he's been around a bit sparring. Only had obviously 20 fights for 1 defeat. But, yeah, he's certainly got experience against big men sparring in the gyms.
One thing that Bakole has been saying in the build-up is he plans to try and finish this as early as he possibly can. He has got 10 wins inside the first 2 rounds. He can bag. He's won 19 of 20 as a professional, 14 of them by stoppage. 12 years younger than the man he's in there with tonight. Bakole in the black tartan trunks, the white, red and black of the veteran Carlos Takam.
So you can see that the respect is there from Takam. He knows, he's felt Bakole's power already, so he knows Bakole is a big puncher. So he's got to move that head. See, that's the right tactic there from Takam. If he's going to come forward and close the gap, he's got to do it with fast head movement to avoid the shot as he's actually coming forward.
Bakole happy to stand and wait. You wouldn't expect to see a great deal of movement, would you, from a man weighing 299 pounds? And if the first round's any indication, that's exactly what we're going to get here. A static target, but he's got the power, Richie, when he decides to throw it.
Yes, most certainly. I thought Bakole actually won that round, kept Takam at bay with that jab. Takam just showing you what he's got to do with the head movement.
What do you think his speed? Nothing, no?
I don't want to come in.
I know that, I know that.
Just stay like that.
So ping a jab out, but out of time. Not supposed to answer.
Okay. Now, vas-y, un boy. Il faut pas laisser droit assis comme ça. Il faut poser. Il faut monter le mouvement. Une seule personne, voilà.
Takam, one of the fighters, Richie, chooses to stand up between rounds. 1 or 2 have done it down the years.
Shows his confidence in his fitness, and he's done his work.
Second round, round 2.
So all set for the second round. This one's scheduled for 10 at heavyweight. The entire card from this point are heavyweight fights, culminating in Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou inside in the Kingdom Arena. And that's to work out who is the baddest, the battle of the baddest. That's a little bit later on. Takam's been in with the likes of Alexander Povetkin, Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker, Joe Joyce. Bakole's only loss was via stoppage to Michael Hunter at York Hall back in 2018. And we're going to see a fighter a little bit later on called Arslanbek Makhmudov, who I think the general consensus is he's the big secret in the heavyweight division, and Carlos Takam is the only man so far to take in the distance. So even though he's 42, there's still life in there, and of course he's got a wealth of experience as well.
Lots of experience, hasn't he? Yes, been 12 rounds with Joseph Parker, and he's been into the 9th and 10th round of several contests. So yes, experience. He's fought good opposition, and a cautious start from him. He's obviously just feeling out Bakole, but Bakole's actually boxing a sensible fight in that he's just waiting for Takam to come into range, work with the jab, and then he'll just try to bring him onto the right hand. So it's going to be hard for Takam to actually close that gap, because that jab's just stuck in his face all the time. That's why head movement is crucial, very fast head movement, but also fast feet to get him to close that gap down.
Move your feet. Sort that and sit. That's it. Just double that up. Let your shots go. Come on.
Billy Nelson in the Martin Bakole corner is urging him to move his feet and let his shots go. They're not very happy at all, Richie, by the fact that he's just stood there relatively still in the centre of the ring. They want a bit more movement from their man, and I think a bit more punches thrown, a few more punches thrown, should I say. Yeah,
even like I said before, though, he's just waiting for Takam to come into range, and it's because Takam is not coming forward, and that's why Bakole's probably hesitating a little bit and just waiting. Look, see, he's the much bigger man sitting there waiting. That's not a bad shot there from Takam, so he's got to get close to land that right hand, remember. And at the moment, you have to say, I think that the pace is probably suiting Bakole, and Takam's got to up the tempo a little bit.
Well, you would say it's been a very hot day here in Riyadh. It's cooled down significantly. And he just managed to land a little short left hook at the end of that combination, Bakole, just as Takam was on the way out. Closing stages here of the second round of this one. Big left hook thrown by Carlos Takam.
Well blocked though there from Bakole. There's the right hand. He gets up close, so that's not bad from Takam. Good tactics, fast feet, whips that right hand over.
He'll be gaining confidence, Richie, won't he, by the fact that he's been able to land that right hand a couple of times against Martin Bakole. And you would think if he's going to present a static target, it won't take Takam too long to work that out.
Exactly. So that's why Takam had got to quicken up the feet. That wasn't bad there. He actually drew the lead of Bakole and then came back with that right hand. There it was there. Look, that's a super shot. Didn't quite catch him clean, but nevertheless, good work there from Takam.
Left hand up. Tell me what you got with. You control it, aye. Okay, just a little. Alan.
That's Billy Nelson in Martin Bakole's corner, and two Hall of Fame promoters there, Frank Warren alongside Bob Arum.
And the main man behind them, Roberto Duran there.
It really is.
What a legend.
Yeah, it's a star-studded cast list, and you will see some superstars ringside here as the night goes on. Third round here scheduled for 10 between Martin Bakole and Carlos Takam. The oohs and ahs as that one landed. That's better from Bakole, doubling up on the left hook and then started to let the punches go. And maybe just the first signs of distress in there from Carlos Takam, who can't avoid many of these. He's got the gloves high. They're bouncing off the top of his head with their painful shots, and that left hook got through.
Yes, Bakole's going through the gears here. That's not bad also from Takam. But yes, just an injection of pace there from Bakole, but Takam comes back at him. This is much better though, isn't it? Toe-to-toe stuff here.
Excellent response from Takam, because he started off the round so impressively, Bakole. But as we said, the punches were bouncing off the top of Takam's head, and he's come back now, and he's the one on the front foot. Great response.
Yes, and Takam just weathered that storm a little bit, hasn't he? And so he's actually getting closer to Bakole now. Both boxers here taking the risks, aren't they? They're in punching range, mid-range power shots, and Takam's landing with his own punches now also.
Shaking the head from Bakole, but he's got his back to the ropes at the moment, and Carlos Takam with his head on his chest, although Bakole trying to let the punches go, despite the fact he's on the ropes as he is.
Yeah, he's taking a risk here, Bakole. Although he looks confident, he's actually smiling. But, you know, he's got his back on the ropes. His target is full on to Takam. And Takam, this is what Takam wants. This is the type of contest he also wants. So, yeah, he's taking risks here.
Well, the referee, Lee Every, happy for them to fight where they are. Little combination there from Bakole. Maybe Takam's turn to take a breather. Back he comes again with a left hook.
big shots going in from both boxers here. And Bakole just keeping his eye on Takam all the time. But Takam himself has got to concentrate and try and land a shot. But Bakole's landing the better punches on the inside.
Yeah, really good uppercut that got through, and Takam concerned by that. Bakole starting to open up again, and Takam's a sitting duck at the moment. Really good work from Bakole, who's turned it round, and Takam wobbling in there at the moment. Martin Bakole looking to tighten the screw, but Takam came back. Bakole again. Heavy shots landing right above our commentary position. Two big men letting everything go.
Yeah, big hooks going in for Bakole. And Takam, can he weather this storm? That's the big question. Just holding on for dear life there. But Bakole, good exchange of shots. What a super left uppercut that was from Bakole.
Well, there's the end of a round that was so significantly different to the first round and the second round. Both of them standing toe-to-toe and firing away. Great round. And here's Fabio Wardley, who's going to be fighting David Adeleye tonight for the British title. That's the chief support. That's the fight directly before we see Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou. And there is David Adeleye, who's been confident all week, Richie. He's been talking the talk. Tonight's the night to walk the walk.
Yeah, a real 50-50 fight, isn't it, between them two? But here, what a cracking round that was for this fella.
Well, let's have a look at some of this action from the third round, which was explosive at times.
Yes, this was right from the word go, wasn't it? So his corner have obviously told him to up the tempo, and he certainly did here. Hooks, uppercuts going in also from Bakole, but the right hook there, that was a super punch from him, and he just maintained that pressure then throughout.
Well, Takam's a fighter who's always given his money's worth in there. He took Joe Parker 12 rounds. He went into the 10th with Povetkin and Joshua. Took rounds off Makhmudov, who we talked about earlier tonight. And he felt the full force of Martin Bakole's power in the third round. I mean, my only question, Richie, with Bakole tonight is at 299 pounds, how can he sustain the attacks and can he keep throwing the punches? Although Takam is wobbling here at the start of the fourth. He's on wobbly legs, extremely wobbly legs. Bakole can sense the finish. Accurate punches going in, and he's just walking Takam down in there.
He started this round the way he finished it, Bakole, on that front foot, coming forward, very confident indeed. Couple of shots there from Takam, got home, but nevertheless, Bakole seems to be a man with a mission here, coming forward, wants the knockout, wants to do it in style against a very experienced opponent.
Really good shot. Carlos Takam, he's on very wobbly legs. He's got the look of a man who, Bakole can land a really solid one. He might just bring an end to proceedings, looking to try and get that hook, stroke uppercut through. Takam in full defence mode at the moment.
Yeah, we're missing Wardley there with that right hand over the top. Bakole, I think he's looking for the finish here, just walking Takam down. Big shot again went in there from Bakole.
Of course, the extra weight brings with it extra power. These are extremely solid shots from a very big heavyweight in there, and full credit to Carlos Takam for taking as many as he has.
Yeah. Just on the outside, he's just trying to get vital seconds where he can try and recover.
One observation would be, Richie, is that the legs aren't getting any more solid. They've been wobbly now for quite some time.
Yeah, you're just waiting for another big shot on you from Bakole. Takam just staying on the outside, trying to keep his distance from... Oh,
great body shot, super body shot. Bakole digs it in and lands another one. More distress for Carlos Takam. Is he about to go? Another body shot. He's not enjoying those whatsoever. Bakole can sense the finish, and he steps in. He stops it. Lee Every stops it. Blood on the face of Carlos Takam. The referee had seen enough, and the onslaught was continuing from Martin Bakole, who wins again. It's a stoppage win for the big man from the Congo, who fights out of Scotland these days, and he's really enjoyed that one.
He wanted to look impressive tonight, Martin Bakole, and he certainly has. Started off cautiously, but then he upped the pace. He listened to his corner and he got to his opponent and he caught Takam with left hooks, right hooks, left hooks to the body. They were superb.
In fairness to him, he's a great showman as well. He's always got plenty to say, always exudes confidence, and his little celebratory jig at the end of it there shows just how much he's enjoyed himself here in Riyadh tonight. I think everybody who saw that fight thoroughly enjoyed it. Two big men standing there toe-to-toe, and Martin Bakole, the one who lasted longer.
And didn't he look confident the way he did it? Especially from the third round onwards. Once he had a bit of he must have had a bit of a roasting in that corner, because the corner, when he came out, he seemed to be a different fighter on the front foot, going forward, and really opened up and had a look of confidence. And it was his variation, the hooks, and then that big left hook to the body that really hurt Takam.
I think he listened to the message, didn't he, from Billy Nelson in the corner, because halfway through the second round he was shouting, look, move your feet, throw more shots. He obviously repeated the message between rounds, and he came out in the third round, Richie, an entirely different fighter.
Yeah, totally different. The first couple of rounds, as if he was just on a scouting mission, just looking at his opponent and keeping it at range and not taking any risks. From the third round onwards, he was a totally different boxer indeed, on that front foot, looking for power shots, and he certainly caught Takam with some crackers indeed. Let's have a look at here. Goes forward, there's a big body shot coming up. There it is there. What a punch that was. And Takam there, as you could see, he felt that one. He was hurt with that shot. Fair play to him. He didn't actually go down and he tried to get through it. So a tough man. But the pressure kept coming from Bakole. That right hand over the top. The referee jumped in. I think the corner were actually coming in with the towel anyway, but let's have a look at this final finish there. That's a super punch indeed. So good variation, great power, and a good stoppage.
Just checking on Carlos Takam in there at the moment, the medical team. That is a wonderful body shot from Martin Bakole. Didn't throw too many to the body, but when he switched to the body late in the fight, that's what paid dividends, and that's what led to the stoppage.
It was a super stoppage, wasn't it? It was a perfect left hook, and Takam was concentrating on the trying to block the right hands that were coming out his way. Then he switches the left hook to the body. What a power shot that was, and it did the business.
I'm just waiting here to get the official result. Martin Bakole's been in Carlos Takam's corner just to make sure that he's okay. What about the future for him, Richie? Because he's spoken about fighting against Deontay Wilder. He's spoken about being in there with Alexander Usyk, Martin Bakole. I don't think he's going to duck anybody. Whether he's going to get the shot, we'll wait and see, but he certainly wants it.
He certainly does, and you know he's WBC number 9, WBA number 2, so he's just got to bide his time. If Tyson Fury wins tonight and the big fight comes with Usyk, remember, when you get an undisputed champion, there's 4 then mandatory challenges that you have to look out for. So normally an undisputed champion, he may give one of those titles, and then Martin Bakole certainly will be in line somewhere along the line. He'll be in that next group of heavyweights that are looking for that title shot at some stage.
How good a win is it for him against Carlos Takam, based on the fact that Takam took Mahmoud off the distance, and Bakole's gone in there tonight and got him out there in good fashion?
You know, it's a tremendous win. Takam is 42 years of age, but this was the last roll of the dice for Takam, and certainly Bakole has done it in style, the way he did it. I thought he'd come in a little bit heavy, we both said that, but nevertheless, he's done the business, and it was the confidence that he did it with. A good performance tonight from Bakole.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes, 15 seconds of round number 4. Our referee in charge, Lee Every, stops the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, Martin Bakole.
So Martin Bakole, a 4th round stoppage victory over the 42-year-old Carlos Takam. I've got a lot of respect for Carlos Takam, because those legs, he never got his legs back, Richie. From the moment they started wobbling, he seemed to be on wobbly legs for the rest of the fight, but did remarkably well to never touch the canvas.
Yes, it was the power shot that sort of took the steam out of Takam. Well, fair play to him, a tough guy. The body shot that he was hit with, that was an absolute cracking punch. Stayed on his feet, tried to get through it, tried to weather the storm, but the legs were never quite the same. You're right there, Fletch. But it was the power of the shots that took sort of the fitness away from Carlos Takam.
He was dancing around the ring, Carlos Takam, like he got pins in his boxing boots for a round and a bit. And the bagpipes blaring out around this arena here in Riyadh. The crowd certainly enjoying that, and the big man talking there to his coach, Billy Nelson, and he's going to step outside the ropes here, and we're going to get the chance to hear from him. Martin Bakole, an impressive winner tonight against Carlos Takam, and he's waiting to speak to Steve Bunce.
Where's Billy? Bill. Thanks very much indeed. I'm with Big Martin, and I mean Big Martin Bakole. First of all, what's it feel like getting the win, the first big win on this card?
First, I want to thank Southern Arabic people here, lovely people here. So happy to be in Saudi Arabia. I want to thank Excellency Tig, the Prince, and everyone who come here to support boxing in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, you know, Takam has got experience, and I said it, you know, on a press conference. He's a tough guy, and I respect him, but this is Martin Bakole time, like I said it. And I want to thank my promoter here, Billy Nelson, and I want to thank everybody back in Scotland, in the UK. So I'm so happy to be part of this.
Martin, you were particularly heavy, very heavy. Have you had an injury or something? Why were you so big, big boy?
Oh, you can ask Tyson Fury will tell you. I have a bad injury in the camp. I'm surprised, even my coach here, we keep quiet. We won the fight, and I show that I'm a warrior. I spent only 2 weeks at the gym for this fight, and like I have a big heart. I can't give up, and that's why you see I have more weight like this, because I was having injury in the gym.
Now, Carlos was very tough, but you've been avoided. People are ignoring you. Your name's not being used. Who do you want? Who do you want, big lad?
Oh, everyone is here. Who wants to see Martin Bakole fighting next? Stop running. You can run, but you can't hide. I'm ready for everyone in the UK, in America, everyone.
Billy, can I just bring you in? Bill, obviously he's had an injury which crept out. He's carrying on all the way. And the first couple of rounds, he was moving a bit slow. You managed to fire him up a little bit by about round 3. What did you say to him?
Well, I just told him I had to let his hands go a little bit more. It was much faster than Carlos. But we intentionally, the first 2 rounds, we went a bit slower. The severity of his back injury was really, really bad injury. We can only thank Hannah, who's his physio, so much. We brought her out here. What a fantastic job. If it wasn't for that girl, he wouldn't be here fighting tonight.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much.
So what's next for you, Martin? What's the plan? What's the plan with your team?
No, I can't tell you my plan because I'm not a manager or promoter. They know who's next for me and what is next for me. As my job, I'm ready for everyone in every way.
So, as we go forward, Big Martin, do you want to... it's a stupid question, but I'll ask you anyway. Do you want to come back here and fight?
Of course, I want to come here. You want to see me here? Thank you. I'll be back here. Whatever you want me here. If the Excellence want me next here, I'm ready.
And the next time he'll be bigger. Martin Bakole, Billy Nelson, thanks very much.
Everything's gone.
Tough guy. He's been in with some good operators. He doesn't always get stopped. He's been stopped a few times. No one's done it that quick. I was just a little bit concerned that Martin may have blew himself out trying to get rid of Carlos. So he done a job. Something he done really well was he went to the body, and it's a shot that the heavyweights typically neglect. They don't typically target the body a lot of times. You don't always see heavyweights getting hurt with body shots, but I think Bakole's kind of the guy that no one wants to talk about, nobody wants to mention, because he's a very, very good fighter.
Why is that? Why do you think that is? Because we've seen fighters who are exceptional, who are really good, that people tend to avoid. Is it that they avoid him, or why don't they want to talk about him?
He's not the biggest name in the world, so I think when you've got the names kind of dictate the purse. They dictate the money you're getting. So to fight a guy it's just a bit too much of a risk. He's not a name, and he can really, really fight. The thing is, now he's been on this platform, so he is a bit of a name now, and he's building a name for himself. So he's just someone that guys don't want to fight.
We also look at what potentially could be next for him. So his trainer, Billy Nelson, says that he hopes that the winner of Usyk or Fury is going to vacate the WBA belt to give him a shot. See that happening?
Well, I mean, certainly that's going to solve his problems with finding opponents, because once it's the belt on a line, there's going to be someone that's going to step up and take that opportunity, and he is a bit of an unknown commodity. I think people are going to look at him, potential opponents, and still feel like there's a lot more to his game, especially because he's just come in with an injury, had 2 weeks of training, and he's just done that to Takam. I think a lot of people are going to be very cautious about taking that, but if you hang a belt on the fight, it changes things.
Carl, when you travel for an event where you're not on home soil, you're going abroad, it's not British soil, and it's a huge event like this, how can it affect fighters? I know they're all professionals, but can it be quite daunting when you're on an undercard like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. But I think you look at someone like Martin, he just seems relaxed. And even we went backstage, me and Dan know his manager pretty well. So we were backstage to see him. He had the heat on inside his change room, which was strange. It was roasting hot in there. And he was just relaxed, so it didn't seem to daunt him at all in the slightest. He's just a relaxed guy. He's a funny guy. He's a good character. I'm hoping people get to see his personality now, and he gets the big fights that he deserves.
I'm glad they had the heating on. It is absolutely freezing in here. So for those of you that might have just joined us and you missed the top of the show at home and you're watching this going, what is going on? What is the situation here? What's the geography? We're basically inside the Kingdom Arena. So this is the arena where we're going to have the opening ceremony behind us, and then the actual main event, Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou. And then the undercard, which is also all heavyweights, that is in the outdoor arena, which we're calling the Undercard Arena. And obviously it's going to be fabulous out there as well. You've seen the photos of it, the pictures of it. There are lights everywhere. There's so much going on. There are celebrities. Honestly, we have celebrities and sports people coming out of our ears. And we're going to get lots of reaction because we have such a big team on the ground as well. We're going to get as many interviews into this show as we physically can. But there will be so many people that are wanting to just find out how this fight later is going to go. And Dan, while you're here, your expertise in the world of MMA, everyone will be looking at this going, right, it's going to be over really quickly. It's going to be Tyson Fury that's going to sort it out. Can I just give you a scenario that this isn't in a boxing ring, this is in the octagon? What happens?
Well, I mean, I look at Tyson Fury's legs, and I think Tyson can't take a leg kick with those legs. I think Francis Ngannou would probably cut him down like a tree with 1 or 2 low kicks. And then, of course, you've got to think of the wrestling. You know, Ngannou's going to be grappling him, putting him against the fence, dragging him to the floor, and then you've got to deal with heavyweight punches on the ground and elbows, you've got to remember. I mean, a heavyweight can punch, but a heavyweight can really throw some elbows as well. It would be a very, very different fight. But one thing I will say in Tyson's defense, I think he has a better chance of beating Ngannou in MMA than Ngannou has a chance of beating him in boxing. I honestly believe that. I think this, obviously...
It doesn't sound like it.
Honestly, Ngannou has a chance in this fight, absolutely. But I think, given 6 months, Tyson Fury will adapt his skill set to mixed martial arts to the point where he would be a contender in the heavyweight division.
Very interesting. You said that, yeah. I would. Obviously, you know the MMA game a lot better than I do, but I'm surprised that you've said that. Obviously, I mean, Tyson can box. We all know he can box. Apparently, he's done a little bit of wrestling, and he kind of knows what he can do. But to say that he is a better chance in an MMA ring, I'm very, very surprised by that. Well, an MMA octagon, cage, whatever you want to call it, not a ring.
I've seen him training with Darren Till. I've seen him throwing elbows and knees, and I mean, he's a big individual, right? And he's a fighting man, first and foremost. He's a fighting man that's a boxer, right? His boxing is his profession. His lifestyle is a fighting man. Like you ask John Fury, he'll fight anybody under any rule set at any occasion. Tyson Fury's got that blood running in his veins, right? If you give him an opportunity to fight a man, he'll figure out a way of winning.
What do you think is the more difficult discipline to master? Mixed martial arts or boxing?
Look, it's got to be mixed martial arts because there's so many different disciplines you have to be good at. In boxing, you have to be a very good boxer, you have to be very, very good at one thing. Punching, really. Well, there's a bit more than one thing. You have to be able to defend and move and everything else, but there's so many different things. You have to be the top guys in the MMA world, good wrestlers, good strikers, good kickers, good grapplers, good at jiu-jitsu. I mean, it baffles me how they even train for it. How do you set up a training camp whereas you have to train for each of these disciplines throughout the camp? How do you do it?
Well, I mean, you have to compartmentalize, which is why I think this is going to be quite interesting for Ngannou, because he can focus on one particular thing. Like in a spot.